That is exactly what, as Michigan, the leaders in the best, we should have. And so the way they've come together, the things they've done, we're very excited about. You know, you never know what kind of team you're going to have until the season's over. But the one thing I can tell you that we're encouraged by the qualities we have seen from our football team. And throughout the spring and throughout the summer, again, I believe the foundation has been laid. And you're going to talk with three of our great representatives, Jake Ryan, Frank Clark, and Devin Gardner, and who have represented Michigan in a positive way. You know, we're excited for August. We need to have a good August camp. And I think every coach in here will tell you that. You need to stay healthy, but you better be competitive and you better be good. You better have a great camp. And so excited about that coming up. We've got a great schedule. Okay, it's a good schedule. But the schedule starts on August 30th. With Appalachian State. And that's where our focus will be. Because you can't win all your games unless you win the first game. And expectations of Michigan are what they are and what they should be. They're high. And so we're excited about getting that started. Staff-wise, Doug Nussmeier has come in and done a tremendous job offensively. Came in with a championship pedigree, came in with a pedigree of molding quarterbacks, and what I've seen in his track record speaks for itself, but it's not just something that speaks for it, he's doing it on a daily basis. The moves that we made in the secondary and on defense, allowing Coach Madison to be more involved from the middle of the defense instead of up front only, has been very positive. The movement of Jake Ryan to the inside of our defense has been very positive. I think Roy Manning coaching our corners and Kirk Malley coaching the safeties, because of the variables with the offenses you face, I think has been something very positive for our football team, positive for our players. Last, and then I'll take questions, is we're very proud of who we are, and we will continue to be, and we're proud of what kind of young men, student athletes, we have in Michigan.
Okay, we'll take questions. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We have our first question. Your stage left, Coach, right on the end.
Hey Brady, Mike Spath from Wolverine. Don't worry about finding me, whatever. I just want to know, and back in June, you had done an interview, I believe, with Bonnie Bernstein, talking about Jabril and the fact that he would come in at nickel. You had the summer, you probably talked to some of your players about what they've seen out of him. Is the plan still to play him in nickel, or is there safety or corner when you open fall camp?
Well, and Michael, that hasn't changed. The plan hasn't changed. I think we've got to be careful about anointing any true freshman starting their college career, you know, but that's where he will start.
Take our next question over here, stage right, all the way in the end of the room.
Hey Coach, your program is a very great story tradition. Your stadium is a great story tradition. On Saturday, I believe that the Big House is supposed to break the record for the highest attended soccer game in American history. It has two of the big story traditional European clubs. Are you going to take your team? Have you been involved with that at all, or any?
You know, I'd like to be, but I won't be. Simply because our freshmen, that's their first day of coming in. As far as some of the administrative details we need to take care of. But I think we're going to break a record.
Next question is to our left here, Coach.
Bill Rabinowitz from the Columbus Dispatch. You're in the East Division. How daunting is that division? How do you think it kind of shakes out?
Well, I think it's a great competitive division. You know, how it shakes out, we'll find out. But as far as the competitiveness of the division, and at the end of the day, you know, it's what we all want to do, and we all want to do is we want to compete. We want to compete on every Saturday. So, as far as we're concerned, we're looking forward to it.
Stay on the same side of the room, Coach, middle toward the aisle.
John Ward, Wolverine. Coach, how far into fall camp do you anticipate going before determining an offensive line for the sake of consistency, seeing those guys play together as equally?
John, I think, we'll start camp with a lineup that we've come out of spring with, and that will be based some things on what has been done during the course of the summer, when you see the work ethic and all those things. But a lot of it will be based on coming out of spring football, obviously. So we'll go through that lineup, but at the same time, we'll change it up every day a little bit to see where the pieces fit. But I wouldn't say take 2 weeks maybe at the most.
Floor is open right now. Go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you. Stay on the same side of the room, Coach, just a couple rows back.
Considering how last season ended, has the pressure become bigger heading into this year for you to perform?
Why do you coach? I mean, why do you really coach? And if we're doing everything we can for 115 guys, sons on our roster, from the graduation, since we've been there, 69 or 69 seniors have graduated. That's important, because football is only going to last so long. So the only pressure is every day preparing those guys for life after football. Competition, hard work, and all that, that's part of it. But socially and academically, that's a big part of it. So when you talk about that, that's the only pressure as a coach that I've ever felt, making sure we're doing it for those student athletes.
Floor is open again. Go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We've got 2 questions. We'll start here on the same side of the room, down front, and then we'll move to the other side.
Oh, thank you. Coach, Steve Hellwagner with 24/7 Sports. We're going into a new era with college football with the playoff and the 14 playoff. Last year, the Big Ten kind of struggled in the marquee non-conference games. This year, the list of them is top to bottom. You play Notre Dame and Michigan State's playing Oregon. How important for the Big Ten and its champion, whoever gets out of this conference, will it be for the conference as a whole to do better in those non-conference games?
Okay, first and foremost, we're very proud of the Big Ten Conference. Very proud of the schools and the competition and the way our teams play, and how our schools, from an academic standpoint, graduate student athletes. Do we want to win every game? There's no question. Every guy who's going to be at this podium, they want to win every game. And when you talk about the non-conference schedule, we welcome those challenges. I know our conference does, and I think our conference is going to play very well in those games.
Next question is on the stage right, Coach, here right on the aisle.
Todd Porter from the Canton Repository. Grady, you mentioned about having as much competition in every position that you've ever been a part of or that you've seen and the foundation that you've played there. Is that usually the first step toward narrowing the gap between where you are and where you want to be?
You know what? Ask that one more time. Because I missed some part of it.
The competition, the amount of competition that you have in every
Correct.
position, is that really the first step toward narrowing the gap from where you are and where you want to be in any place you've been in the past?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's always been part of it. We had a very good year in 2011, 11-2. We played in a Sugar Bowl. But because of that, Mike Martin played 82 plays as a nose tackle. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, because that's playing a lot of snaps, and that's taking a lot of hits. But if it was today, Mike Martin played 50 plays. So that's what we have now.
Floor is open. Raise your hands up high. We'll see you and get a microphone to you. The question all the way in the back, the final row there.
Oh, sorry.
Coach Adam Chappelle, Ribbon News Radio. Michigan has a history of playing the MAC early on. What sort of relationship does that program have with the Mid-American where you can have those non-conference games scheduled so easily?
Well, I think it's always been, a nice, I was head coach of Ball State, and we played Indiana twice, we played Purdue twice, played Michigan once. I think it's great for the Mid-American Conference, which I have a ton of respect for, and I think it's great for regionally for families, and I think it's great for both schools. And obviously you've seen the Mid-American Conference teams come in and play awfully well and beat some of the Big Ten teams. So I think it's a great partnership because of the competitive base.
Next question is here, stage right, the far side of the room, middle. Coach.
Brady, you mentioned Doug and what he's done so far. Where have you seen the difference that he's made, tangible changes he's made? And also, as far as Peppers, when can we anoint him?
Let's anoint him when he does something, right? I mean, let's see what he can do. What Doug has done, Angelique, is I think when you watch him practice in the spring, you watch the tempo of the offense, you watch the physicalness that every day guys are playing with, I think that's where it starts.
We move right next door for the next question.
Coach, on the 100 you got Michigan Daily. Is there any update right now on Drake Harris's health? And are there any players you expect?
Drake Harris?
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's fine. Any players you expect to be limited or in camp?
No, not yet. Not that I can think of. Or I want to share it this time.
Floor is open again. Please raise your hand. Get a mic over to you. Same side of the room, Coach, all the way toward the back.
Brady, just curious if you know anything about Ty Isaac and his potential eligibility.
As far as the hardship and everything, we don't know of anything. We expect Ty to report on August 3rd, but we're still going through the hardship with compliance and those things.
Still time for a couple of questions. We have one down here in the front stage, right, third row.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the last foreseeable future, your matchup with Notre Dame this year? Is that any more emphasized with your players and students here?
It definitely will be an emphasis, simply because it's a national rivalry. It's a shame that that series is over with because of the national rivalry that it carried along with it.
And our final question will be down here in the very front on our left.
Yeah, Coach, they changed the divisions, obviously, in the Big Ten this year. Ohio State and Michigan now in the same division. Obviously, that game means so much, but now, as a division game, what's your thought? Were you happy to see that change made?
Yeah, I mean, as long as those two great programs, with their storied history, are still playing.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you very much, and go Blue.